Okay, it's Thursday, December 26th, 2013. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Wagner?
I'm here.
Commissioner Stacy? Here. Commissioner Tippett?
Here.
Let's sign the journal. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. Old business. Mrs. Wilson.
Nope,
Old business,
not today.
Nicole? Mr. Thorne? Mrs. Stacy?
Nope.
Okay, old business, the Wolf Creek mailer, do we have that? I know you've been working really, really hard on that. When does that due to go out? Do you have it?
Hopefully next week.
Hopefully next week, okay, just so
Is
people
there-
have it in time to
There's some out
digest
there
it.
I'm gonna take over and mail today, so.
Okay.
and
What
then
is the
see about
legal
that.
requirement? For how many days in advance for the notice?
From what
We
I
wanna
heard,
make
there
sure
Wasn't
that we-
one, but they'll all be notified before, weeks before.
Okay, so we want to make sure that we have, if there's a 30-day notice before the meeting or whatever it is.
All
that we
letters of permit,
absolutely
I just
adhere to
have
it.
to stuff them, so.
And you've already sent the newspaper their notice, and have they gotten back with you?
Yep, she got back with me a few minutes after and said she had approved it.
Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure everything was in line for that. We don't want any slip-ups at this stage of the game. And I might remind everybody that there is no meeting next week. We canceled Tuesday a couple weeks ago because it's New Year's Eve, and so the next meeting will be the following Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So I don't want to make the statement that we're canceling New Year's Eve there, like I did Christmas Eve. You missed it, Domer.
You
We
didn't.
can't cancel.
No, I
New Year's
didn't,
Eve.
but I just thought I'd keep quiet for a change.
Okay, new business.
New business. Let's see, how many bill vouchers? I got bill voucher number 152 through 159. I have a resolution authorizing an appropriation adjustment within the general fund, moving $242.82 from contingencies to salary treasurer. I have another move, $332.46 from contingencies to PERS, 10 cents from Medicare to PERS, $144.73 from Medicare to PERS, $5.73 from witness fees to PERS, 45 cents from jury supplies to Medicare, 2 cents from Medicare to coroner salaries, 72 cents from Medicare to sheriff's salaries. These are all in the elected official lines. And for some reason this year, the way the auditor calculates the elected official lines, theirs isn't on a calendar year. Because our payroll is the last payroll. So that normally, because the elected officials only get paid so much and that's all they get. So these are
Right.
just adjustments because of the way the payroll fell.
Okay.
I have a resolution authorizing an appropriation adjustment within the general fund, moving $4,757.46 from the HSA line to the group employee insurance line. A resolution authorizing an appropriation adjustment within the general fund, moving $4,000 from mediation to court reporter, $3,047.91 from mediation to indigent counsel, $6,645 from drug testing kits to indigent counsel, $558.10 from foreign judges to indigent counsel. Total move $14,251.01. I have an appropriation adjustment within the general fund, moving $4,000 from contract repairs to food and $3,000 from contract services to food. Total move $7,000.
And that's all the jail line item.
I have a resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made to the Public Assistance Fund, 030. They were requesting their last draw for the Public assistance, $61,968.50 from our transfers out to the 030 transfers in. I have a resolution authorizing a fund advance from Maintenance and Repair Fund 020 to Seneca County Road 38, 7.47, County Road 12, 1.46, and County Road 592, 11.70, Bridge Rehabilitation 091. This again is from their advances out to advances in for $75,000. I have a resolution authorizing a fund advance from the Maintenance and Repair Fund to the Seneca County Road 38, 9.32 Bridge Replacement 183. This is moving $173,000 from the advances out to the bridge advances in. We have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the Public Assistance Fund 030, putting $72,433 into their transfers outline. A resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made to the Children's Services Fund 078, moving $72,433 from their transfers out public assistance to the transfers in of their Children's Services Fund. And a resolution authorizing an appropriation adjustment for the Soil and Water Conservation District 042, moving $1,193.98 from travel to hospitalization. And an appropriation adjustment within the Ambulance Service Fund 064, moving $1,000 from contract services to supplies and $125.96 from contract services to PRS. Total moved $1,125.96. Resolution authorizing an appropriation adjustment be made to the EMA Fund 102, moving $440.66 from hospitalization to PRS. I have a decrease to the permanent appropriations for the Community Development Block Grant Fund 105, decreasing $2,657.87 from fair housing, $3,350.85 from other expense, total reduced $6,008.72. I have a decrease to the permanent appropriations for the VOCA Grant Fund 110, retro to December 17th, 2013, reducing salaries by $124.67. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the VOCA Expansion Project Fund 112, putting $177.56 into hospitalization. Resolution authorizing an appropriation adjustment within the County Sewer District Fund 139, moving $234.64 from supplies to salaries, $390.93 from supplies to PRS, 19 cents from workers' comp to Medicare, 15 cents from workers' comp to PRS. Total move $625.91. And a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the Community Housing Improvement Program, Fund 157, putting $8,270 into WSOS administration. We have a decrease to the permanent appropriations for the Community Housing Improvement Fund Program, 157, reducing $4,446 from homeless prevention, $5.25 from Medicare, $58.28 from PERS. Total reduced $4,509.53. I have a supplemental decrease for the permanent appropriations for the SCAT Building Construction Fund 211 for 2013, reducing $66,748.65 from contract services. The resolution authorizing an appropriation adjustment within the SCAT Building Construction Fund 211, moving 90 cents from their contract services to transfers out. The resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made to the Capital Projects Fund 215, moving the 90 cents from 211 transfers out to 215 transfers in. This will close out the SCAT construction fund and move 90 cents, what's left, into 215. I have a resolution authorizing a fund advance repayment from the SCAT building construction fund to 11 to the general fund. Moving 100,000 from the SCAT construction fund to the general fund. And these are all referencing previous resolutions, so we've got them separated so we could keep track of them. I have another one from our transfers out for $200,000 to advance in. Another one from the SCAT advance out, $125,000 to the general fund. Transfers in. $5,000 from the advance out to the general fund's advance in, and $101,934.88 from SCAT's advance out to advance in. Total payment readvance payment is $531,934.88. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations within the FY13 Community Corrections Fund 208, moving $112.23 from transfers out. I have a resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made to the general fund, moving, this is from the Community Corrections Fund, transfers out $251.80 to the transfers in of the general fund, $39.47 from the Community Corrections Fund transfers out to the general fund, $579.42 from the Community Corrections transfers out to transfers in, and then $112.23 again from the Community Corrections Fund to the general fund. Total $982.92. I have a resolution authorizing an appropriation adjustment within the general fund, moving $10,000 from jury fees to indigent counsel. And let's see, we've got a couple cleaning up some of our payroll things. We actually have a resolution accepting the resignation of Jan Zamorinsky as an intermediate paramedic for the Seneca County EMS Paramedic Response Unit, effective December 19th, 2013. He regrets having to leave, but he's got too many obligations and he didn't feel like he was putting enough effort into it, so he's leaving on very good terms. And I have a resolution accepting the resignation of Samantha Taylor as the Seneca County Intermediate Maintenance Worker, effective December 26, 2013. That was the summer help we had. She had indicated that she was going to come back like through her breaks, and had some other things come up, so we're just going to remove her from our payroll.
We still have the young man coming back.
No, we removed him probably right when the summer program was over. She was the only one that had asked if we mind if she stayed on, so she wanted to do some cleanup when she came home and just didn't get to it.
Okay.
And I have a resolution accepting the resignation of Tom Breidenball as Seneca County Intermittent Maintenance Worker, effective December 26, 2013. I think Mr. Zoller had talked to. He's just, again, he'd love to stay on, but just doesn't have the time for.
He's going to have to make time. Do I get a buyout on that?
We got
That's in my
some.
discussions.
We got some cookies out there.
Cashews left, or maybe.
Yep. I think that's all the resolutions I have.
Is there a motion that we accept these resolutions?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on any of them? I guess I had a question. Is that completely clean up SCAT now? All the money that we
That's what I was
loaned
gonna
them
ask.
is completely returned?
Yes, yep,
Okay.
yep. Well, that 90 cents is what was left after she cleaned all the advances and all of the bills being paid up, so that was 90 cents is what we had left.
Okay,
so.
but then they did return a bunch of money that we had advanced them,
Yes.
so.
Yep. There's only, I think the youth centers, that advance is still out there. I was thinking there was another one that's still hanging out there. The youth center, I know it's still hanging out. They still have about, I think 200,000 left out there. They're getting some building issues cleaned up before they release that final payment, so
Okay.
they're working through those problems.
If Wolf Creek goes through, there will be some advances there probably to make that project happen.
Yep.
Any other discussion on any of these motions? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Zoller?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner?
Yes. Okay, other business, you have other things for us?
Nope.
Okay, Mrs. Stacy,
I have nothing.
okay, Zoll?
Yeah, I do have a couple new things. Over the last couple weeks, I've been talking with some of the county departments and so forth, and I know that it's
Oh, I don't have that.
something that's been discussed in the past about trying to be more user-friendly with
So,
the various services and functions that we offer within the county. What I'm getting at is the ability to have the consumers or the public use credit cards at various things. And I understand there's some disadvantages with that. But let me clear myself out first. So it'd be like the health department, if somebody wants to go to get a shot, they can use a credit card. They can, at regional planning, they can use a credit card. At the auditor's office, they can use a credit card. I understand that the treasurers, they can currently use a credit card. Some of the problems in the past has been that it is county fee-based. I've had some inquiries with some of the banks, and there's ways that we can get around that so that it has to be consumer fee-based and not county fee-based. So my question to this board here is, I thought if there's enough interest on our part, that we would inquire out with all the county departments that could potentially use this service. And again, it's just a way of making us more user-friendly to the consumers. You know, they come in and if they don't have a checkbook, but everybody's got plastic today. You plop it down, you buy your dog license, or you pay for something down in regional planning and so forth. So if it's something that this commission would like us to investigate, I thought the next step would be to inquire with the county the heads of those departments that could use that, get their input, set up a meeting. We could all sit down in a room and hash the pros and cons of the whole thing out, and if there is enough interest to go forward, and then the next step would be to invite some banks in to make proposals, realizing the bottom line here is it must be consumer fee based. To have the availability to use credit cards, it cannot come out of the county, it's gotta come out of the consumer for that flexibility. So my question is there enough interest on our part here to start the investigation and get a meeting together with the department heads?
With Damon, we talked with Marguerite about this years ago, and she would never do it because she just didn't want to mess with credit cards. Damon Institute, he charges a fee for that then, doesn't he? Is that the way
it's
that
a
works?
consumer-based fee.
It's a consumer-based fee, okay.
Anybody who chooses to use it, and we've actually sent a couple people, if they wanted to pay, they could go down to the treasurer's office. We just communicate with Damon, give them either the invoice or something, and then allow him to run it through that way, but that's probably not convenient, but.
And the other
it's-
thing that
it's-
I've heard is that it has to be like general ledger coded. If it comes to the recorder's office, it's got, if they use a credit card, it's gotta go back to the recorder. If it goes to the auditor, and there are logistic issues that the banks and so forth, I mean, I'm just talking at a high level now. First, is there enough interest that we wanna, and again, the reason for the impetus of this whole thing is try to be just more user-friendly to the consumers.
Where I was going with that, I just wondered how Damon did that, but he's doing it. My only interest is, one, it doesn't cost the county anything, which you already said is your interest. And that each department head that's gonna do it, buy into it. We don't force Mary Ward to do it, or we don't force, regional planning to do it if they don't wanna do the credit card thing. So those are the only two things. Other than that, I think it'd be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I've inquired with a couple of those departments, they seem to be very receptive to it. has some concerns, as I do too, but it's a way to start, you know.
Do you have to buy a machine? I don't know how that works.
Jeff, I don't know anything about it. I mean, this, at all.
Yeah.
But it seems to me with the accessibility of plastic in everyone's wallet anymore and the lack of cash, that it may be just a use. I know a lot of other counties, you can go pay with things through credit card.
Yeah.
But as long as, and hear me loud and clear, it's gotta be user fee based. We can't afford the 1.5% or 3% or
Right,
whatever the
right.
credit card fee is. And that's a luxury for the citizens, but they have to pay for that luxury.
Yeah.
How that's done, I have no idea.
Yeah, I'd be just, yeah, depending what those department heads and those people who would be the departments accepting it, what they feel about it and to take on whatever that adds to them, whether it's some equipment or,
I mean, at a high level, I see regional planning, I see health department, can you read my own, recorder's office, the auditor. I don't know what other departments would potentially,
well,
Interact
courts, I
with
mean,
their
they,
cash.
they take checks for court fees and that kind of stuff too, so I don't know.
We do very minimal here. I mean, we have indigent council fees that they come and pay, they're fine, they're not indigent, that they
Yeah.
come in and pay here,
Repayment.
but,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if we would use it enough.
We probably would.
Here.
They've asked before, I've had a few
they?
the last few times, but I think they wanted to use it just because they were only like $200 or $100, and they just wanted to pay it off, but they only had it on a card.
Mm.
So, but 2 out of all the cases we have.
yeah, and again, there may not be that much, but if you're receptive to it, I thought Stacy, I would get with
Yep.
you, we'd come up with what departments we think it could interact with, send an inquiry out. If we get a positive response back from them, and then schedule a meeting. And then once the meeting, that we sit down with county officials, if that looks good, then the next step would be to invite banks in.
I think we're all saying the same thing, that doesn't cost the county anything, and departments would have to buy it,
Yeah.
each individual department, okay. As long as those criteria
I
are
assume it would
followed.
have to be with the banks we currently are utilizing to where our deposits go.
Yeah, I would
It would have to
assume.
be,
I can see
that's a
who-
question for Damon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
does, Damon. See who that machine's through. Oh, that's okay.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, the other thing is just, it's another tough situation, but I was brought to my attention, and I understand that we've had just a tremendous amount of rain over the last week. But and the engineer is just absolutely inundated with trying with road closures and so forth. But something was brought to my attention I didn't realize is the fire department, some of these volunteer fire departments, because there's not proper roads that are closed, they were going out to some fire calls. They'd head down a road and find out that the road's closed because there wasn't a sign up. They called the engineer and he said, well, I don't have enough signs. And so I don't know if there's anything that we could do there, but I know if my house was at the other end of where it was at, I'd want the fire department to know if that road was closed or not. And I understand it's a ever-changing thing, but again, I just bring it up and, because it was brought to my attention and
I would, personally, I'd take it to the engineer and say, I've had this report on county road, whatever, that it wasn't properly marked, and the roads and marking of the roads would be under his purview.
they were upset to the point they were gonna come here, and they may still come here, some of the volunteer fire departments, and,
More than one department?
yeah, from what I understand, And so, and I know Mark's doing everything, and when you got the flooding that we've had at the level, I mean, you know, who's on first
Yeah.
type thing, but.
I guess all we can do is make him aware of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Lastly, another thing is, was talking with Clinton Township trustees, and they've got some retirements and sick pay issues and so forth, and did the township trustees have a list of what the do's and don'ts are? They were gonna try to reduce, if somebody retires, but we had this issue last year, somebody retires and we gotta pay them all this sick time and so forth and so on, and that was last year, I can't remember what I did yesterday. Would it be helpful that we just get a bullet point out to the township trustees, so they just have
They
what
would
the
either
law
use,
is?
they would either use the OTA, the Township Association, and/or for legal reference, the prosecutor is their representative like it is, like Derek is
Well,
for us.
would it be nice just to get a cheat sheet?
But we're
Or
not the
county.
gurus on that. That's the thing, is their things may be different than, I'm not sure, but I know, you know, when it comes to all of their things legally, they go directly to the prosecutor, it's not through us.
They have to follow the state law, but they can set their own policy on sick days. And
Well,
that
they
kind of-
can. Well, that was
Yeah.
what the question was, and that was, he asked me, can we do that or not? I said, I don't know. I know when we looked at it last year, when
We
we had some
changed some
retirement,
things, yeah.
there were some things we couldn't do.
Yeah.
Now, as the townships
But our
got more.
guidelines, we can't send them out because they may not be what they all do,
Yeah.
like what you're saying.
So the
They-
townships got more flexibility with the
No,
county.
no, we changed our policy, but we kept it in accordance with state law. There still has to be in accordance with state law, but they could have their own policy. We might say,
Yeah,
They may not mimic each other.
yeah, they may not be the same.
yeah.
And so each township may have a little different.
Each
policy.
township probably has different benefits and
Okay.
things like that, all again, all within whatever the law allows them to do or mandates them to do, but they probably have various,
Yeah, I'm afraid
Thanks.
if we get too involved, we're giving them legal advice and then we're,
If it's not uniform, we can't do it. If it's
Yeah.
uniform, then I
It's
thought
not.
we could use us as the precipitous to this, but if it's not uniform, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
But they may want to inquire with the prosecutor for
Right,
their
right.
specific,
right.
I absolutely
with their
would.
specific issues there. It's
Yeah.
something we can't answer that. Okay, thank you, I'm
Okay, no
unaware
problem.
of that.
Did you have anything, Richard?
No, I think this might have a few more.
Okay.
There was a couple more on the agenda I didn't have. Okay, I have, let's see, I have a resolution entering into a memorandum of understanding for the electric benefit Seneca County and the CCAO Service Corporation. This is our cooperative agreement, like our gas. This is our electric. I have a resolution authorizing Stacy Wilson as Seneca County Administrator to sign the application for the aggregator for the PUCO retroactive to December 12th, 2013. We had two, which two townships? They did the aggregation, they put it up for a vote, and two of the townships passed. So now we have to do the paperwork, we have to apply to be the aggregator for this. Doesn't cost us anything. Palmer's doing all of the paperwork for us, the legal stuff, so
Okay.
but we just have to pass the resolutions and help them move forward, so that's what this one was
And
for.
that's a different Palmer than we've been dealing with.
Yeah, different,
This is Palmer Electric versus Palmer Energy or something like that.
This is the one for the individual townships that they
Yes.
brought up at the township
Township
meeting
meeting,
in
yeah.
the summer
yep,
of, okay.
yep. And then I have a resolution accepting the governance plan of the operation for electrical power aggregation, and Derek has looked at all these as well. And this was again to get the process going for those two townships. And they're hoping that more townships will get on board and help and allow their citizens to save some money on electric.
Okay. Is that those three are it?
Yep.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, any more discussion on any of that? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Zoller,
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy,
Yes.
Commissioner Wade.
Yes. I have one piece of new business. I think we all got a letter from Dennis Eberly, who's on the Public Defender Commission, stating that the public defenders, 10 years ago, the county went from a public defender system to an indigent counsel system. And the Public Defender Commission, after this time, has decided that they really aren't necessary, so they've asked us to disband the Public Defender Commission. So voted unanimously to do that. So I would just like to put that on the agenda for a coming meeting, if that's all right with the board.
Yeah.
Because they really have no powers, since we're under the indigent counsel system. Those folks are all chosen by the judges. They've been meeting, but they really don't do anything. So they've asked us to just do away with them.
I serve on that committee, and they've
Okay.
had some discussion for some time. There's really they have no authority, they have nothing
Okay,
that they can do with it.
all right, I'll give this to you, and you
Okay.
can just have that drawn up for next time. Okay, any public comment today? Yes.
I'm curious, the SCAD building fund
repayment. Now, does that go back into the general fund?
That goes back into the general fund.
Okay, so that would be like additional quote carryover kind of thing, or?
That would not go into the carryover because that was what they call an advance not repaid. So we had counted on that money. We counted that money as if it was there. Am I right
Yes.
with that?
Yeah.
Advance to be repaid.
Advance to be repaid or something to that effect. So that does not increase the carryover, but does increase the cash position.
Okay.
It doesn't increase the unappropriated balance, but it does increase the cash position. We're glad to get it back.
We have all reason to believe that our carryover this year should be greater than what it was last year, that we're increasing our retained earnings, or whatever you call it, the carryover. We won't, they're saying that be about the 15th of January, I thought I heard Julie say, till after some of the bills are reconciled and so forth, and she'll have a better feel of that. Does that sound about right? Where she can start giving us,
Yeah, that'll be the preliminary, once all of the unencumbered amounts are closed, but she doesn't close all the purchase orders until, I think, the end of March. So we'll have as of December 31st, this is what's been available and what's put back into the carryover as of then, but the true carryover would be not till the end of March.
It'll grow through
Yeah.
about March, and then it'll start shrinking after that as we start.
That's why it
having-
changes, that's why some of the numbers, when you've asked for different numbers, they change a little bit because purchase orders for the previous year being canceled, as long as you ask for the carryover at December 31st, then that number should always stay the same.
it's all indication that I've been getting is that our carryover, the reserves are increasing. We're not depleting our reserves, we're actually increasing them. So I think that as commissioners, we've done a prudent job of managing the taxpayers' money.
Very good. Did you have anything else, Ms. Miller?
No, that was my question. I was curious, $500,000 makes a
Yeah,
difference
yeah,
here and
sure
there.
does.
Yeah.
Sure does. That's real money. Real money. Did you have something, Tom?
Yeah, I got a question to you, Jeff. A couple of years ago, you were talking solar panels out at the
Yeah.
county home out there. Why,
The board,
yeah, what?
The board
what
at that
turned
time-
that down, or what happened
the
there?
board at that time told the company, I think we did it in public session, that we were not interested. I had asked them to give us a guarantee that it would be below AEP's rates, and they could not do that. So we were afraid that we were gonna get locked in at a rate higher than what AEP's rate was.
Okay. Because I had missed some meetings in there.
Yeah. Yeah, they couldn't guarantee us it'd be lower than AEP's rate, so I was afraid we could be locked in for 5 years paying a higher rate than what we can buy it on the grid.
The reason I'm asking, because I've seen some
Uh-huh.
other solar panels around and just wondered.
Yep.
Thank you.
It might have been a paying proposition and it might not have, but they couldn't guarantee it.
Yeah, I'm really curious. I am really curious on this, the Palmer Energy thing that we're gonna do document with last year's expense and this year, because $153,000 worth of savings that's pretty ambitious. And I pray to God that that's a good figure, but man, ooh, that's cutting a lot of expenses out.
Yeah, sure is.
So, and I realize that electric rates are going up, but we could follow it through kilowatt hours, and we should see some, hopefully, if we can see half that, I think it was a wise investment for the county.
Anything else from the public? Anything else from the board or the staff?
I want to thank you guys. I mean, it would be just depressing to come in here and just the three of us. Fortunately, I got these lovely ladies, not Jeff. I can work with. But it is nice to come in and to see that people are interested in what goes on in their county, in our county.
They got depressing to be for Holly and I.
Oh, they'd have to put a sock in my mouth. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second it.
Okay, adjourned at 10:33 then.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.